Hi, today we're looking at Functional Skills Maths Entry Level 3. This is the Pearson Edexcel Past Paper Set 1, and we're going to start with the non-calculator section. Question 1. Amir is doing an IT course. His course is for 9 months. He pays £86 each month. Amir says the course costs more than £750 in total. Is Amir correct? Show why you think this. Right, so what we want to do is we want to work out the total cost and then compare it to the £750. So really what we want, we've got 9 months and each month we're paying £86. So there's a number of different ways you can do 9 times 86. I'm going to do it sort of the grid method. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 9 here, we're multiplying, and we're going to split the 86 into the 80 and the 6. And also what I'm going to do is, because I know we're going to be needing our 9 times table, so I'm going to write my 9 times table over here actually. So 1 9 is 9, 2 9s are 18, 3 9s are 27, 4 9s are 36. Now, if you're not very good with your 9s, what you can notice is that we start off with 9, and then each time the units reduces by 1, and the tens goes up by 1. So we've got 1, 2, 3, so the next one's going to be 4. This is going to go down by 1, so 45. This will go up by 1, so 50. That's going to go down by 1, so 54. And you can keep this process going. 72, so we're going to go up to 8, go down to 1, until we get up to 10 9s, which are 90. And also you'll see that the digits for the 9 times table always add up to 9. Right, so now if we want 9 times 8, so 8 9s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's going to be 72. And we just put the 0 on the end. And 6 9s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we've got 54. So we need to add those two together. So 720 plus 54. 0 plus 4 is 4. 2 plus 5, we'll start with 5, 6, 7. And 7 plus nothing is just 7. So Amir says the course costs more than £750. Well, 774 is more than 750. So, yes, he's correct. Now you want to make sure that you tick yes down here. Okay, question 2. Amir has 103 days to finish a project. He works 7 days a week on the project. How many weeks and days does Amir have to finish the project? Okay, so 7 days a week, 103 days. So we want to know how many weeks fit into 103 days. So this is going to be a dividing question. We want to know how many times 7 goes into 103. So we've got 103 divided by 7, which we can do using the bus stop. So the smaller number on the outside. Does 7 go into 1? No, because 1's smaller than 7. What about 7 into 10? Well, yeah, 7's smaller than 10, so 7 goes into 10 once, and 8, 9, 10, 3 left over. So we can write that in front of this 3 here. What about 7 into 33? 7, 14, 21, 28. Another 7 would be 35, that's too many. So we're going to stop at 28, which was 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And from 28 to 33, it's going to be 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So 14, remainder 5. So we just need to write that in here. So it's going to be 14 weeks and 5 days. Question 3. Amir created a mobile phone app for his project. These are the numbers of downloads for his app in April and May. In April, 328 downloads. In May, 496 downloads. Calculate the total of these numbers. So we want to add 328 with 496. So start with the units, 8 plus 6, and we start with the biggest number, the 8. We want to add 6 on, so starting from 8 we're going to have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So write the 4, carry the 1. Well, because we've got the 1 here and the 9, I know 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 2 is 12. 2 and carry the 1. 3 plus 4, we'll start with the 4, 5, 6, 7, and another 1, 8. So we've got 824. Question 4. The total number of downloads in June was 976. A quarter of these downloads were in the first week of June. How many downloads were in the first week of June? Well, it said it was a quarter of these, so we want 1/4 of 976. Well, a quarter of it means we need to divide 976 by 4. So this is going to be another bus stop question. How many times does 4 go into 9? Well, we've got 4, 8, so that's twice, and 1 left over from 8 to 9. How many times does 4 go into 17? 4, 8, 12, 16, 1 more for 17, so there's going to be 4 times and 1 left over. And how many times does 4 go into 16? 4, 8, 12, 16. So that's 4 times. And remember, if you can't remember your times table or do it quite as quickly as I was doing there, you can think, well, once 4 is 4, 2 4s would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you can just do it with counting until you get more comfortable to do it a bit quicker. So our answer is going to be 244. And that's the end of the non-calculator section. So now we have a look at the calculator section. Right. Okay, question 1. Amir starts a new job in an IT company. The clock shows the time he arrives at work. What is the time on the clock? Okay, and we've got 4 times to choose from here. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's try and work out the time first of all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and write it. How should we do it? Okay, yeah, no. Well, let's look at what number the shorthand is closest to. So this is a shorthand, this is our hour hand, and it's closest to 9. So it's going to be something 9, okay? Now, remember, if it's on, split that down the middle. If it's on this side of the clock, it's going to be past. And if it's on this side, it's going to be 2. So it's 2. And how many minutes to 9 is it? Well, the big hand is here on the 7. And remember, each of these is 5 minutes between each number. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it's going to be 25 to 9. Right, let's see if we've got that as one of the options. 7:43, 25 to 9. There we go. Question 2. Amir wants to put a speaker next to the computer screen on his desk. The arrow shows the width of the space available on the desk. Okay, so here's our ruler. Here's our arrow. The width of the screen is 540 millimeters. the width of the speaker is 8 centimetres. Will the screen and the speaker fit in the space? Show why you think this. Okay, so first thing I notice is that we've got a measurement in millimetres and a measurement in centimetres. So let's get them all in the same units. Okay, well, I know that we've got 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre. So if we want to turn this into centimetres, we divide it by 10. Because centimetres are bigger, so we're going to have fewer of them. And if we divide by 10, we can just take the 0 off the end. So this is going to be equal to 54 centimetres. Okay. So we're trying to get the computer and the speaker in, so we want 54 and 8 to fit in the space. Well, we can use our calculator for this one now. In fact, even here, we could have done the 540 divided by 10 if you're less comfortable taking the 0 off. But we want to do 54 plus 8, which is 62. Okay, you can do it without the calculator. But if you do, it's always good to check with the calculator as well. Right, so we've got 62 centimetres that needs to fit in the gap. And the gap is this big. Well, let's have a look. We've got 60 here, 65. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like, is this 61, 62, 63, 64, 65? Yeah. So we've got a gap of 63 centimetres. So we can say, well, 63 is bigger than 62. So the gap is bigger than, what's this? We can call it equipment. So will it fit in the space? Yes, it will fit. And now we can tick yes down at the bottom. Now with all of these questions, I'm doing my workings up here so it's close to the questions. You can see it all on the screen at one time, but remember they do give you the area, so when you're doing it in the exam, make sure you use the space where it says show your working and answer here. Okay, question 3. Amir needs a laptop. He chooses the laptop with the least weight. Which laptop does Amir choose? Tick the correct answer. So the least weight, so we want the smallest number. And we've got 6 different weights here. They're all in kilograms. Well, the first thing I notice is that some of them start, they're all decimals, but some start with a 2 and some start with a 1. Well, the lightest one is going to start with a 1. So we can rule out those. Okay, then the second digit we've got 1.8, 1.8, 1.7. We don't actually care about the other digit for now. If we wanted to make them all have the same number of decimal places, we could put a 0 in there. So now we're comparing 80, 83, 77, which is the smallest one. Well, 77 is smaller than 80 and 83. So we can tick this one here. Question 4. Amir wants to make a game app. The chart shows the numbers of downloads of different types of app. So we've got the number of downloads here, 100, 200, 300. Then we've got the type of app. We've got a travel app, business app, sport app, and an education app. There were 950 downloads of game apps, which isn't shown on the graph. Amir says there were more downloads of game apps than the total downloads of sport and travel apps. Is Amir correct? Well, we need to know how many downloads there were for sport and travel apps. So this is where we can use our graph. So sport first. So here's sport. So in other words, we want to know what number this is over here. Now, if I follow this line across, and what you can do is use a ruler because your eyes can go funny sometimes. So it's there. Okay, what number is this? Well, here's 700, here's 800. It's split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And this difference is 100. So if we do 100 divided by 5, it will tell us what each of those little sections is worth, 20. Okay, so that means that that must be 720. Add another 20 on, that must be 740. Okay, so I'm going to write that up there. Now, we were interested in downloads of sport and travel apps. So travel's down here. Let's look at travel. So that's going to be here. Well, we could start from 100 and add on 20, 20, 20 and 20. Or we could start at 200 and say, well, we're starting at 200 and we want to go down one. So we want to just take off 20. So this is going to be 180. So sport is 740, travel is 180. If we add those two together, we get 920. Ami says there were more downloads of game apps than the total of these two. So he's saying that 950 is more than 920. Is Ami correct? Yes. He's correct. And again, we can tick that down here. Question 5, and we've got another clock. The clock shows the time Ami starts work on an app in the morning. He works on the app for 3 hours and 30 minutes. What time does Ami finish work on the app? Use correct time format. Right, well, let's see what time it is at the moment. Well, look, we've got sometimes we call it the big hand. The big hand's on the 12. The little hand or the hour hand is on the 10. So we've got 10 o'clock. If he works on it for 3 hours and 30 minutes, well, let's think. If this moves forward 3 numbers, it would be 1, 2, 3. So we're starting off at 10 o'clock. The hour hand is moving to 1 o'clock. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Then we've got 30 minutes for the minute hand. So we can go around in 5s, because remember we've got 5 minutes on each of these. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it's going to be 1:30. Or you could think 30 minutes is half of an hour. Half of an hour, I'll be pointing down here. Okay, so it's 1:30, but it's going to be in the afternoon now because he started in the morning. So we can write 1:30 p.m. Alternatively, if you did 10 and added on 3 hours 30, 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 3 is 3, 0 plus 3 is 3, 1 plus nothing is 1. So I'm just going to do this as an or. This is a different way of doing it. This would also be correct because we've written it using the 24-hour clock. Just remember, if you do it in the 24-hour clock, you don't put AM or PM. Okay, so either answer would be fine. Question 6. Amir makes a game app. A player goes up a level in the game when they get enough points. The number of points needed follow this pattern. Level 2, you need 30 points. Level 3, 45 points. Level 4, 60 points. How many points does a player have when they get to level 5? So we're going to want level 5. So we want to see, is there a pattern? So what we can do is see, well, what's this increasing by? And the way we can find that out is by saying, well, let's take the bigger number and subtract the smaller number. So if we do 45 minus 30, we get 15. Well, let's see what happens when we go from level 3 to level 4. So we take the bigger number again, take off the smaller number. That tells me how much it's increasing by. 60 minus 45. Well, that's going up by 15 again. So that looks like our pattern. So if we want to know what's happening with level 5, we're going to need to add 15 points on. So 15 added on to 60, which is what we had before, and that gets us 75 points. Question 7. The game app will show a compass on the screen. Here's our compass. In which direction does the arrow point? Well, we've got an N already for north. Now it's how you remember the other directions on the compass. Some people say, well, north and south are opposite. So we could write south down here. And then you might remember never eat shredded wheat. So never going around clockwise. Never eat for east. Shredded wheat for west. So this arrow is pointing halfway between north and west. And remember, we always take the top or the bottom. So if the arrow was pointing down here, it would be southwest. Because it's pointing up here between these two, it's going to be northwest. And we can just write it as NW. If you write it in full as northwest spelt out, it's absolutely fine. Ame chooses a shape to show the points scored in the game. Which shape has only one line of symmetry? Right, let's move these up. Well, let's draw all the lines of symmetry on these shapes, and then we should be able to tell. So, line of symmetry, a line that splits the shape into two equal pieces when reflected in a mirror. So, for example, if we cut this shape here, this side would perfectly match with this side. So it doesn't have to be precise, it's just showing. So here's one line of symmetry that would match on there. But actually, we've also got a line of symmetry horizontally, because this half would exactly fit on here. Okay, it's always a good start to look at your vertical and horizontal lines. Okay, so it can't be this one, because this has got two lines of symmetry. Okay, what about the rectangle? Well, this is going to be similar to that one. We can split it right down the middle. That side would fit onto that side. And we can also do it horizontally. The top would match onto the bottom. And when you're drawing a line to symmetry, don't keep within the shape. Go all the way through the shape. It's easier to see what you're doing. Okay, so it can't be either of those shapes. What about this shape down here? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So we've got a hexagon here. Well, can we do the same again? Yeah, I think we can cut that down the middle. That would match onto there. And we can also do it horizontally. That would match onto this side. So it looks like this is going to be our answer, but let's double check. Well, can we split it vertically? Yes, we can. That would match perfectly with this side. What about horizontally? Well, no, if we did that, we'd have a narrow bit at the top, wouldn't match with the bottom bit. So that's only got one line of symmetry. Question 9. Ame finishes his game app. The table shows the number of downloads of the app. Okay, so we've got a number of downloads, and it's split by the month. So September, October, November, December. And it's split between the UK, Europe, and the rest of the world. Which month had the greatest number of downloads in Europe? So we're only concerned with Europe. So can ignore all of that. Which month had the greatest number? So which of these is the biggest number, really? Well, they're all in the hundreds. Remember, we've got units, tens, hundreds, 400, 600, 800, another 600, so that 800 is going to be the biggest. But it says which month had the greatest. Well, it's going to be November. Question 10. Amir has this information about the income from his game app. So the income, the amount of money that he's making from it. And we've got 3 months and income in thousands of pounds. So September he made £12,000, October £15,000 and November £23,000. Amir needs to show this information on a line graph. Complete the line graph and use a correct scale. So they've started the line graph for us, which is very helpful. We've got month at the bottom, September, October, November. They've told us that the income is going to be in thousands of pounds. Now, for the scale, we need to work out what's the biggest number, first of all, and make sure that fits on the graph. So the biggest number is 23. So let's see, how can we split this up? Well, a good place to start is, what about if we had just one for each of these lines? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so these are in fives. So that would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, that's great, because then 23 would be below that, so everything's going to fit on our graph. So we can write those in. And you don't need to write every single number, so I'm just writing them in multiples of 5. And it's a line graph. So when we're doing a line graph, we just do a little cross for each of the points on the graph. So September, the income was £12,000. So look at September. This would be 10, 11, 12. Do a cross there. For October, we had £15,000. So October, go up to 15. And you can use your ruler. If you find it difficult to follow the lines, you can use your ruler and go straight up from October and from 15. And then for November, we had 23,000. So November, we go up to 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23. Now, because it's a line graph, we need to connect the points, and we use a ruler to connect our points. And there we go. They've even done a title for us, so we don't need to write that one on. Okay. Players say what they think about the game app. And these are their responses: fair, good, very good, excellent. And they've asked us to complete the frequency table to show what the players think. Well, they've already done the total for poor, fair, good, and very good. We just want to know how many people thought it was excellent. So let's go through. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Question 12. Amir checks the number of processes running on his laptop. When Amir started work, there were 208 processes. After 1 hour, there were 321 processes. How many more processes were running after 1 hour than when Amir started work? So what's this number increased by? Well, let's take the bigger number and subtract the first number. And that'll give us the difference. So over here so we can see it better. 321 minus 208 gives us 113. So we can put that here. Okay. Now we've got 13A here. Round 208 to the nearest 100. Right, well, let's think, what hundreds is 208 between? Let's do a bit of a number line for us. Well, if we go down, if we just take the units and any tens off, we haven't got any tens, but take them off, well then 200 would be down here. So 200 would be one end. What would 100 more than 200 be? Well, that would be 300. So 208 is going to be between these two numbers. And which one's it going to be closer to? Well, hopefully, you might be able to see it. If not, you can think, well, what's halfway between them? And the way you can do that is add 200 plus 300 and divide it by 2. So halfway would be 250. Well, 208 is less than 250, so it's going to be down here somewhere. So anything to this side of 250 is going to round down to 200. And for part B, they say use the rounded number, so the 200, to check your answer to question 12. Okay, so if you remember question 12, we said 321 minus 208 was 113. Well, if they want us to use 200 in the check instead, well, we're saying 321 minus 200. Well, 1 minus 0 is still 1. 2 minus 0 is still 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So we're saying 121 is approximately equal to 113. It's not going to be exactly the same because we're rounding, but it's roughly equal. So that's fine for a check. Question 14. Amir wants something to drink. He can choose one bottle or two cans. The bottle is 0.5 litres. The cans are both 330 millilitres. Does the bottle have more drink than the two cans? Right, well, I know that there are 1,000 millilitres in 1 litre, or 1 litre. So we can convert this into millilitres, and then we've got them both in the same units. So if it's 0.5 of a litre, we want 0.5 times 1,000 millilitres. And that gives us 500. So the bottle is 500 millilitres. The cans, well, it's going to be 330 plus another 330. Or we could do times 2. I'm going to add them. So we've got 660 millilitres. Does the bottle have more drink than the two cans? Well, the bottle is 500, which is less than 660. So does it have more? No. And then make sure we tick that off. Then there. Question 15. Amir has £75 to buy new software. He spends £48.90 on the software. How much money does Amir have left over? So he starts with £75. He spends £48.90, so we're going to take that away. The answer is going to be in pounds. So 75 minus £48.90. And it doesn't matter that this number's got no decimal places, but this one has. And we get 26.1. But because it's money, you can't have 0.1 of a pound. We need to put a 0 in to show that that's £26.10. And with this question, you would get 2 marks if you had the 26.10. You need to put the pound sign to get the 3rd mark. And finally, question 16. Round £48.90 to the nearest £1. Another rounding question, so I'm going to do another little number line. And think nearest pound is like nearest whole number. So what whole numbers is this in between? Well, if we just took the 90 off, it would be 48. So 48 would be down here. but it's more than 90, so it's going to be after 48. Well, what would £1 more than 48 be? That would be 49. So we can think, where's the 48 going to be? Well, halfway, you just remember a half, I can show it on here, a half is 1 divided by 2, is 0.5 as a decimal. So halfway here is going to be 48 plus 0.5, which is 48.5, or 0.50 if we want to show it as money. This is 48.9, the 9's after the 5, so it's going to be somewhere up here. Doesn't matter exactly where, the important bit is that it's on this side of the £48.50, which means our answer is going to be 49. And they've already done the pound sign for us. So that's the end of the paper. When you get to the end, always good to go back and do a check as well, do a sense check, sort of look, does your answer look like it's the right sort of size? Have you made the right conclusion about whether they're correct or incorrect? And I'm sure you will do fine. So thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you get updated when I add more videos, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.